Hey, what's up?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you been?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me all right? I know I'm back home. My grandparents' Wi-Fi isn't the best. I know I may be lagging at times. Just make sure I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, you're good.
Okay. I'm good, man. I can't complain. As good as I can be right now.
hmm Thanks for hopping on and taking some time to come on.
Anytime, bro. I appreciate you for inviting me, man. Glad Cam reached out to me. I'm excited to do this.
hmm Welcome to episode 190 of the Blitzig. I'm here with Daylan, talking Ole Miss football and much more. And I'm excited to have him share his thoughts on how this past season went. And with National Signing Day approaching tomorrow, I'm curious to hear his thoughts on uh, what the Rebels will do with their signings and much more. So, welcome.
Thank you, Alex. Grateful to be here, man. Ole Miss had a historic season this past year, and Pete Golding and staff are trying to recuperate from some of the players and staff members they lost in this national signing day, as you mentioned, moving forward to help elevate 2026, but also elevate the future for Ole Miss. So excited to be here, man. I'm grateful for the opportunity to come on your show, man. Thank you.
What were your thoughts on how this past season went for Ole Miss?
Man, it was obviously a fun year, and but a little bit of a bittersweet. I think myself included, when Ole Miss beat Georgia, in the Sugar Bowl. You got to that Miami matchup, and you saw what Miami brought to the table in terms of Ruben Bain, their entire defense, Makai Isidore, and what they brought. And you looked at it and you said, okay, this is going to be a challenge, but it's an opportunity for Ole Miss to kind of showcase what they can really do well. Not winning every matchup defensively, but just containing the Miami offense. And how do you kind of take points when it's given from the Miami defense, and I thought Ole Miss could do that a little bit better than they actually did, and have a chance to at least go to the national championship game. May not win and beat Indiana, but I thought they had a chance to do that. But looking back on it, man, being a part of history was very fun, man. Just the first ever college football playoff appearance for Ole Miss, and in the history of Mississippi, being able to host a game in Vaught Hemingway Stadium and seeing just the crowd reaction to that game, but also the sellout crowd, being able to talk to alumni that came back for this game, and just kind of hearing their emotions and their just, I guess, memories of their time in college, and how relief it was to be able to watch this team do it despite all the other drama that went on throughout the season. So it was definitely just fun to be a part of. When the season had started, I've been with this team since March, covering spring ball, and then I was back in Oxford throughout the summer covering this team. I think we started early in July, being able to cover the team in terms of going to practices, meet with players, do interviews, have media. So I was with this team throughout much of the year. And honestly, man, it's funny because you were coming off the 2024 season with Jackson Dart, and Trey Harris, and Walter Nolan, and Princely Mami, and all these big guys. And then all these guys go to the NFL, and then it's like, okay, what's next for Ole Miss? A new quarterback, a lot of new defensive players. It's kind of going to be a rebuild year. So that was kind of the thought process going into this past season. Was it's going to be a rebuild year. Ole Miss may win like 8 or 9 games, not really expecting a playoff win. Austin Simmons' first year, you don't know what he's going to do. And then Austin Simmons goes down, and then you kind of get really concerned because you're like, okay, Trinidad Chambers, people have heard about this guy. But for me, I watched him all throughout summer. I knew he was really good. And I think some people just kind of put that asterisk on him because he played Division II. But I keep reminding people throughout the season and before he even started that even though it's not, the SEC, this is a guy that was still playing a lot of football in prior years. So I felt like Trinidad was going to be prepared if he got that opportunity. He was going to be well comfortable. And obviously, Lane Kiffin recruited him for a reason. I mean, he knew that the guy could play football at any level and could really compete and help Ole Miss win if Austin Simmons went out. And so when he came in against Arkansas, it was really just fun to see him sit there and do it. And then every single week, people kept saying okay, can he do it against LSU? Can he do it against Georgia? Can he do it against Oklahoma? And he just continued to do it. So it was super fun to watch his journey, watch Keywan Lacey do his thing, and watch this team come together in a way that I think most people from outside of the Ole Miss fan base really didn't expect them to do, especially after the Lane Kiffin thing went on at the later part of the season. But it was super fun to be around, cover this team, build relationship with some of these players. This was a historic run for Ole Miss and a very joyful year for me to be a part of it.
Mhm. What did a day in the life of you being a reporter for Ole Miss bring to the table with how to cover the team on a daily basis and everything that went into it?
That's a great question, man. So that's where it kind of became complicated. So I'm still in college. And fall semester is always that crazy part of the year for me because it's football season. And football, like a lot of people don't really understand it. Some people may think basketball or baseball because there's more games in the weeks. But the one football game on a Saturday, the build up, everything that goes into it is much more than anything for a basketball or baseball game, no matter what school you're in. Because we take baseball very serious. Almost like we're one of those few colleges that actually, profit off baseball. But football, there's so much that goes into it because you're building up advertisements, you're building up so many stores or so many more players, et cetera, et cetera. And there's just so much more involvement in media that's being looked at in college football than there is those other sports. So throughout the week, it's a lot of just media press. Like we would always have, I believe, 11:45 on Mondays with the head coach, or either Lane or Pete at the end of the season. And then moving forward to Tuesday, you would have a few players as well. And then you have the opportunity, if you wanted to do sit down interviews with players, ask them questions, write articles about them, et cetera, et cetera. But there was so much based on I guess, just the nature of Trinidad Chambliss that surrounded so much of our season. And saying that there were so many storylines for this season that it was, in a way, you're kind of like overwhelmed. There was so much to talk about. There was never a point throughout the season, if you're an Ole Miss reporter, that there wasn't anything to talk about. There was so much to go off every single day, every single week. And then you add on the last 2 months, the whole Lane Kiffin drama. Is he leaving or not? Is he going to Florida? Is he not going to Florida? Is he going to LSU? Is he not going to LSU? The whole Keith Carter situation, then him kind of finally announcing he's going to LSU. There was so much to talk about this season, whether Austin Simmons was going to come back and start. Will Trinidad Chambliss going to continue to stay? There were a lot of injuries, guys coming together, a lot of outside noise other than Lane as well. You kind of just always had something going on. But, like, I guess leading on the game day, it really depends on the time of the game. Like, I usually would get up early, about 6 a.m. on Saturdays, and go for an early morning run and go run for about 2 or 3 miles. And then that would always kind of start my game days. And it just kind of depends. Sometimes I would stop at different places before I would actually go on campus. But I usually would get on campus 3 or 4 hours before a game starts to go on the Grove and go see my friends and family and go tailgate a little bit, have a little bit of fun. And then I probably go into the stadium about an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game starts. Always do my pregame video either on the Grove or somewhere around campus near the stadium to kind of just give people a little bit of insight of what to expect through the game. Kind of some updates on Ole Miss, updates on the opposing teams and how the game may go, on my score predictions. And then getting to the stadium, it's actually a less than that goes into it than people may think, like on a game day. Like I get there, meet up with some of my partners. We go over a game plan in terms of who's writing what, who's going to be updating things on our social media pages, and who's going to be doing things in the press conference after the games as well. So I think that was a beneficial part of it. But looking back on it, we were really well organized. We communicated, my entire team, we communicated really well, and I'm very grateful for those people and the relationships I built with them, especially throughout this season. And then throughout the game, it was just focused and locked in, man. The pregame, I would usually always go down the field, take a few pictures, just kind of see what the environment was like from the field in terms of the fan noise and the fan interactions and stuff like that. And just kind of get a look at some of the opposing players as well, just seeing who's actually out there hurt and who's actually healthy, seeing just, I guess, a real close view to see how big some of these guys are on opposing teams, et cetera, et cetera. But that kind of goes into it. And then throughout the game, either continuing to work on the articles or updating our social media pages for fans to see that may not be able to watch the game. And then as well, after the game, well, I'll say in the fourth quarter, we usually get to go down to the field about 7 or 8 minutes before the end of the game. So usually before the end of the game, I'm on the field watching it from the field and just kind of seeing things and that nature. Then afterwards, we got to go to the media room and have a press conference with coaches and players, and then I go back up to the press box after all of that, and then I have to finish my articles. I have to do a post game video and make sure I get all that stuff uploaded to social media pages. So, um, like as a fan, it's very fun to have a night game in college football. But I love my job. Don't get me wrong. But when you're having a night game, you do know you're going to be there until probably 11 or midnight, and those were some of the nights. And even then, like I remember the LSU game. I think we played LSU at 3:30, maybe 2, and I still didn't leave until probably 10 o'clock at night. So those are some of the. That's how the game days usually go. It's a long day, but it's very fun to be a part of. Like, there's no greater job than covering sports, and I mean that wholeheartedly.
I also wanted to ask you what you do during the off season. Do you cover any other sports?
Yeah, man, I cover everything. So I cover men's and women's basketball. I cover baseball as well. So that's kind of been like the hard part of this right now for the winter storm that just hit Oxford. A lot of the basketball games have been moved to different sites. Like our women's team has been playing in Birmingham, Alabama for home games over the last 2 weeks. And I'm just have not been able to be there with the team and be able to cover them in that manner. So that kind of sucks. And then our basketball team, they've been having to play straight road games because of the weather that's been going on at Oxford. And then baseball season is supposed to start next week. And then I was supposed to be doing interviews with players throughout this past week and this week, and I've not been able to do that. And so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I do it all, man. I also do radio play-by-play for our softball team, who they made a historic run to the Women's College World Series last year. So yeah, I cover basketball, baseball, softball. I have some different realms in the high school kind of sports as well, surrounding Oxford, and kind of dibble dabble in those things throughout the spring. But the fun thing about football, man, is that as much as this, I guess, this transfer portal thing is kind of broken, it never really stops for college football. Like right now, we're still talking about the portal. We're talking about recruiting. We're talking about what the team may look like going into this season now. And before you know it, it's already February. Before you know it, it'll be March, and then we'll be able to go to spring practices and see what some of these new guys are looking like, and see what the transfers are coming in looking like, some of the returning players, some of the new high school recruits, what they're looking like. So football never really stops, honestly, because we have the opportunity to keep playing until the 8th of January, and then we got the rest of that January, and then February we're kind of without being physically there with the football team, and then in March we're back. And then March and April we get to be with the team, and then through May and June we're not, and then back in July we're right back with the team. So there's never really a point, honestly, that you're not covering football. So that's what makes it fun. So like this is all season, but at the same time you're still dabbling in football, because that's like the main money grabber.
As a Ole Miss reporter, I know tomorrow is going to be a busy day with the National Signing Day all day. Do you have like anything that you do for it, and do you keep track of every move that Ole Miss does?
So I personally don't. That's a great question, man. So we have a recruit updater live on our website, and so for fans that may not be, I guess, like chronically online to understand, everyone there that may be committing to the team, or that may not have the access to follow the team on social media to see who they post, we like update the signings every single moment that a player signs and commits to the team on signing day. So if you check out OleMiss365.com, like we update it live every single time a player signs his national letter of intent to come to Ole Miss. So I personally, I will say this has kind of been a thing that I wanted to get into more this year, now that I'm graduating in May, and I will be going full time into the sports world after I graduate, in terms of getting more into the high school guys, because like I know about some of them, but I don't know enough about them that I'm like, okay, this is what Ole Miss fans can expect from this guy if he comes in as a freshman and plays, or this is his background, this is what he can bring to the table, and this is a kind of good comparison to maybe an NFL player for who he is. So like I'm getting into that more. I just think in terms of being in college, having so much on my plate as a college student, I have not really been able to dibble dabble in every aspect of things like that. But now that I'm getting ready to graduate soon, I will have more time to do that. So I think that the it also kind of sucks because National Signing Day is not like it used to be. Like I remember growing up, this used to be like a day and like a day that you like kind of took off work. You know, the players were getting ready to go and do their signing days at different places, and it was very fascinating growing up to watch players do it because they had the hats all put out, and sometimes they would fake it and throw other hats and be dramatic with it, and they have their family there. I don't really see that too much now. I miss those days, and so it's not even like honestly speaking, bro. Like I don't even think most people know tomorrow's National Signing Day. Like, I'm glad you brought it up because back in the day, people would like ask me about it all the time. It's like now, it's like no one. I highly doubt most people don't even know tomorrow is that day. So like, it's gonna be fun to see that when Ole Miss is posting all the players tomorrow, they're gonna be like, "Oh wow, this is National Signing Day today." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's today." So, I think it's a good piece to go into, but I'm getting into it more and more as I grow older and have more time to focus on sports fully.
I don't know if you saw it. You can check it out on your free time. But I spoke to two guys from the Atlanta area who do heavily on recruiting for college football, and
Mhm.
they talk everything college football, and I'm sure that it would be great info for you to look into. And uh, I was talking about the recruiting process, and like how they view National Signing Day. And yeah, I think to this day and age, I feel like National Signing Day is an amazing platform with everything that's going on in college football. And
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the process of everyone committing to each individual school. And what are your thoughts on how the future looks like for National Signing Day?
Man, I really don't know. Like, I hate it because I remember when I was in high school, I would have like peers ask me because I knew so many coaches, especially in basketball, like, "Hey, can you reach out to this coach to see if they're looking for any high school guys?" And or "Hey, can you send my film to this college coach that you know?" And every time I would do it, the college coaches would be like, "I appreciate it, bro. I'll check it out." But honestly speaking, we look at transfer portal players first before the high school guys now, and it's like that's just the landscape of college athletics that we're in. It's not just football. And then those guys that are in high school, unless you're the top of the line 4 or 5 stars, you kind of sometimes get pushed to the side and you have to make a little bit more of amends and you have to work harder than some of these other guys simply because of the transfer portal, or you have to make those ranks in the Division 2 or Division 3 or go to the JUCO route and then try to make your way up, proving that you can play at this level in some capacity and then try to go to the bigger league. So I really don't know what the future will unfold. Like I hate it because I think that high school players need to get the flowers that they deserve. And I think that's a lot of the brokenness in terms of you're gonna see a lot of guys really, really, really struggle to make it to the NFL more moving forward, moving because I think that it's already been hard in general to do that and get to the NFL and stay in the NFL. But now I think a lot of these guys are losing that grind in the college rank because they can just transfer and they can just go wherever they want when they're not starting, when they're not getting their way. They can just go wherever they want instead of trying to stay there, figure it out, and grow a little bit of maturity and toughness and strength on their skin to continue finding it mentally and physically that will help them at the next level. Like I think a lot of these guys now they kind of get punched in the face, not physically but metaphorically, and then they just run away to another place. And I don't think that's the answer to, I guess, the problems you're going to face if you want to be an NFL player. So I don't know what National Signing Day really holds in the future. Like I don't see much of it changing to being what it once was. Like I think it's kind of afterthought for people now. Like I think most people think even if you sign a good recruit, he probably won't stay because he's not going to play much his freshman year at this point. And then he'll want to go transfer somewhere else where he know he can play more. So I don't know. Like I think there's a fan uh, intensity that has been lost for it because of that, but also just because it's not promoted the way that it used to be. But I also think there's a player relationship that kind of has been lost to it too, if that makes sense, because I think a lot of these high school guys are like, okay, what does it matter if most people aren't even focused on the high school ranks anymore? So I'm not really sure what the future holds, but I definitely hope that it changes because these high school players deserve their flowers.
Hmm. What are your thoughts on how the college football playoff format was like this past season?
Oh, that's a great question, man. I feel like there are only so many changes you can make. And I feel like no matter what you do, there are going to be some people that are going to complain no matter what. So even if you make it a 16 team playoff format and you kind of eliminate those group 5 teams that end up making it because they're automatic bid because they won the conference championships, aka Tulane or James Madison from this past season. I still think there are going to be people that complain about, them still getting in or other teams getting the opportunity to make it in. Because at the end of the day, I think that was what the problem was over time with the 14 playoff format is that too many people thought that other schools either should have gotten in and didn't, or how do you put certain schools in over teams that won conference championships but may have lost another game or two. So it's kind of a hard task to kind of look at. I think there still need to be changes. I'm in favor of going to the 16 team format because I think the teams that end up getting that bye on the 12-team playoff format that we currently have is not fair. And I say that because those teams that get byes, the other schools that get a first round playoff game and host those games, they're getting a significant amount of money in terms of TV deals, getting another game in their home stadium, merchandise and tailgating, et cetera, et cetera. While those other schools that have rightfully earned that bye, but they're also not getting the opportunity to bring that money back to their university. I think that a bye may also be beneficial in this format, but I also think those first 4 teams should still be able to host a game at their home stadium. I think that's something that if I'm a coach, I would love to have to my home fans to be able to witness a playoff game in their own home stadium and et cetera, and bring that money back in another game and in their home stadium in late December will be very cool because being able to witness it as at Ole Miss against Tulane, it was incredible, man. It was so incredible. Not a single seat in that stadium was not filled. It was very loud no matter what the score was. We were beating them by 20 plus points in the fourth quarter and the crowd was still full and it was still loud. That's what every home fan base deserves after your team has a really good season and is a top 4 seed. So I'm in favor of the 16 team format just because of that. Like I think you can't do it with a 12-team playoff format. So I think changes probably will happen because I'm continuing to see more and more coaches complain about it. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, there are going to be people that are still going to complain no matter what. And I think if you can find some type of coach satisfaction, you'll be fine with it because someone's going to complain in any circumstance. But I'm really big on those first 4 teams getting a bye to still have a home game because we witnessed what the bye game does for some of those teams that are off for like 3 or 4 weeks. Everyone but Indiana lost this year. I think maybe everyone lost last year that had a first round bye as well. So it's a tough circumstance too because those teams also are done playing football for maybe 3 weeks to a month sometimes. And then they have to just kind of be thrown back in a neutral site. And I don't think that's fair to them. They don't deserve that.
Hmm. What do you think about the draft stock with all of the NFL draft prospects on Ole Miss this past season?
Oh, that's a great question, man. I when I look at some of the guys that are leaving, I don't think they're necessarily any first round guys, but I think there are some day 2 or day 3 guys. I'm really big on Deshaun Tribling. He was our wide receiver from Oklahoma State. Put up about 600 to 700 passing yards, and it's a really, really good wide receiver. Has a really good NFL frame. He's about 6'3", 215. Has really good hands. Is very fast. Very physical. Is a great pass blocker as well. I think he's a guy that probably won't go in the first round, but I think that NFL GMs and scouts should be looking at him highly. And if you need a physical guy like that, if you need a big playmaker, Deshaun Tribling is a good guy to go out and get because he's going to make you a lot of money. He's going to get you some touchdowns. He's going to be a physical guy. He's going to go make the plays that some other guys may not want to make. So I bet my money on Deshaun Tribling. I think Daquan Wright had a fantastic year too. The Ole Miss tight end. I think he provides a lot of quality abilities in the passing game and also as a pass blocker. He was really good on the line of scrimmage for Ole Miss this year. But also Trinidad Chambers. He was one of Trinidad Chambers' favorite targets this year. especially in the middle of the field. And for a tight end, he can really move well down the field. So I think he'd be a good guy. I think there are some guys in the offensive line, Diego Pounds and Jaden Williams, that also had spectacular years that also could be drafted probably in the fifth or sixth round, maybe. But I think when I look defensively, there weren't too many guys that I'm just sitting here saying that may get drafted to the NFL. Also, a lot of guys didn't declare, and a few transferred to other schools. So you probably won't necessarily see too many guys get drafted from the Ole Miss defense, if I'm being honest. I, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Sage Ryan entered the draft. Wyatt Williams has a good chance to get drafted. He was arguably Ole Miss's best defensive player throughout the season, especially throughout the second half of the season. He was a strong safety, lights out in terms of his ball coverage and his hand placement. Very quick receiver, good open field tackler, and very coachable. I heard nothing but great things from coaches all season long about Wyatt Williams, and he spoke with great maturity as well when I met with him throughout the press conferences this past year. So he may be a guy that gets drafted. I think he has a lot of good tangibles, has to put a little bit more size on him, but I think it can be a really good NFL player too. But other than that, defensively, I don't think there are too many guys that'll be drafted. And it's funny when you think about that. This is a team. If Trinidad Chambers doesn't get that waiver, he probably would get drafted too. But like this is a team that was one game away, a few seconds away from the national championships, and I'm sitting here talking about a lot of guys might not get drafted to the NFL. But like that's just the harsh reality. Like a lot of these guys either transferred or it's funny as well. A lot of these guys are coming back. Like there are so many guys on the Ole Miss team this past year that have another year or two of eligibility and are coming back and have announced their return. So I think that'll be very helpful for Ole Miss and Pete Golding in 2026 to kind of be successful again.
Mhm. What are your thoughts on the 2026 schedule for Ole Miss?
Man, I look at it, it's fun. You get Missouri at home, which will be the return of Austin Simmons and Caden Lee. You obviously look at the big game as LSU, and not just because of the historic rivalry between the 2 years in recent years, obviously because of Lane Kiffin and his departure, and how significant that game will be in terms of, in a way, setting up the success for both teams. That's going to be the first conference game for both teams. And just I guess just the relationships that have kind of been broken off because of Lane going to LSU, and some guys that have stayed, some that have left with them, some players that have stayed, some players that have left with them. So that's obviously going to be the game. Like I'm continuing to hear from so many social media pages that may be like the most anticipated regular season game of all time. Like I'm excited to be there for that game, and see the atmosphere because it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. It really is. I'm excited, but in a way, I'm kind of scared. Like I don't know what's going to happen. Like I don't know what's going to be thrown on the field. I don't know what's going to be said. Like it's going to be exciting, but that definitely is going to be the marquee game. And I think Ole Miss also gets Texas at home. I think they have a quality home schedule. I think it's a little bit more difficult than this past season. But I think there are still a lot of winnable games from Ole Miss this year. But as well, it's hard to, man, Alex, it's really hard to really judge what Ole Miss is going to be able to do right now because we're still waiting on the Trinidad Chambers waiver. Now, if you get Trinidad Chambers waiver and he gets to come back to Ole Miss, I'm looking at this team that could possibly make another playoff run. But without him, I still think there will be a quality team, but I think being able to fight for the playoffs is going to be a little bit harder without him. But so much of that revolves on, okay, do I think this team can win a 10 or 11 games, or do I think they can only win maybe 8 or 9? So I think that Ole Miss has a chance to do really good this year based on their schedule. But at the same time, I'm not sure. You have to play Oklahoma on the road. And then you get Mississippi State at the end of the year, who I think is going to be really, really improved too with Kamario Taylor. It's going to be a lot of good games. I think a lot of close games for Ole Miss. I don't think you're going to see too many games, especially conference-wise, from Ole Miss that are going to be uninteresting. Like I think every single game they may play this year will be very, very close to the wire and a close game at the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, yeah, I just wanted to get close touch on what games you'll be covering during this spring and summer with other sports teams. So what does the schedule look like for you?
Man, I'm banking really banking on the Ole Miss women's basketball team to host a regional this year. It's something that has never been done before. Coach Yo and her teams have made the C16 over the past few years, but never been able to host a regional March Madness tournament. I think that is the next step to make yourself an elite squad, and I'm very excited because they have a good potential to do that this year with where they are in the rankings and how good they've been this year. So I'm excited to do that. So if that happens, man, there's no telling how my March will look. I would probably be in Oxford covering multiple games, not even just for Ole Miss, but for other teams as well. And just being in that environment will be crazy. That's actually, I don't think it's during our spring break, but maybe the week after. So I may actually not have a spring break, which is okay. And I'll be in Oxford just covering the March Madness tournament. I don't think it will be, but I think it will be the week after. So that'll be fun. Man, I'm excited for baseball this year too, man. Honestly, I think Ole Miss, this is the best team since I've been a college student. Like they won the national championship the year before I got there, so I didn't get to experience that. But I think since I've been there, this is the best chance for another team to go back and win the national championship in baseball. So I'm excited for the Ole Miss baseball season that starts February 12th, I believe. And to just see what they're going to be doing. I'm excited to be there for the team, covering them. Plan to go to a few away games as well. I'm from Arkansas originally, so I really want to go to Fayetteville, Arkansas in March when the baseball team travels there to play the Razorbacks, because I think Arkansas has a really good chance to win as well this year. So that'll be a fun matchup. So March and honestly February too, man, will be very, very busy for me in terms of baseball and basketball. I don't really cover too much men's away games. I will be at the home games for the men's basketball team and covering them in that circumstance, but not too many away games. It also depends on the men's SEC basketball tournament too. I would love to go to Nashville and work in that environment and cover. Not really set on that, so I don't know if that will happen. But early or second week in March is when spring practices start for football, so that will get going too. So as you hear, Alex, like my March is going to be very busy. That's a part of it, but I love what I do. And then softball also starts in late February, so I had to do radio for that, and then that'll be going on throughout March. And that will actually be compacted a little bit more this year too, which kind of sucks because the weather has delayed some of the start games, so we've had to push like 2-a-days and have double headers in some games. So I will be at the stadium for a long days. In the end of February and March, but it'll all be fun at the end. But so that's kind of my schedule. Like February, March is probably going to be really, really crazy. April, it'll probably die down a little bit. And then May, it'll probably be a little less crazy as well. But then once June starts back, you're looking at getting ready to football into full time again. And so that's how it looks right now. And then I'm just excited to be able to do it all, man. Like I don't take any of this for granted. It's a blessing to do it all.
Mm-hmm. I definitely look forward to all your work. Where can I find your work at?
Just recently signed on with Ole Miss 365, so you can find my work there at olemiss365.com. That's where I'll be doing all my work moving forward. You can also find it on the Daylan Show, which is my podcast, and all I do on my social media content. And I do a lot of stuff for Ole Miss and in general on that page. So that's the main bulk of where you can find my stuff and where you can keep up with Ole Miss throughout my work and throughout my sites and my beliefs, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where you can keep up with me at.
I got a baseball and basketball podcast as well, and I would love for you to join sometime to recap games from that week that we scheduled to do one. And I would love to have you on back soon. You're you seem like a great and bright reporter and everything that you do. And I wish you the best of luck this upcoming couple of months with a busy schedule ahead, and I'll definitely stay in touch with you.
I appreciate it, Alex, and I definitely would love to come back home. And I appreciate you for inviting me on today. This was fun, and wishing the best for everything for you too, man. Thank you so much, and good luck with the show moving forward. If there's anything I can ever do, just let me know, man. And good luck, man. Again, thank you so much. I'm willing to come back on. Just let me know, man.
Yeah, definitely. Will do.